Has this ever been used in connection with immigration? As we mentioned, it's only been used three times in the past. So is this going to be a first?
Certainly going to be the first time, excuse me, that was used outside of the context of a declared war. The two most famous examples are during World War I and of course during World War II with the internment camps of Japanese, including U.S. citizens. It has never been used in domestic immigration enforcement like we're seeing today, and of course that is going to be the primary crux of these legal challenges, which lawyers are going to argue that, in fact, the authority can only be invoked when there's a declared war or a foreign government-sponsored invasion of the United States, and that this mass migration doesn't constitute a government-backed incursion into the U.S.
You kind of just discussed this, but I imagine this is going to face some legal challenges. Can you talk a little bit more about what we can expect in the coming days, weeks, months, as he is expected to sign that executive order today at noon, as he signed several other orders?
Yeah, Josh, and first, I guess to begin with, the legal challenge will be predicated in part on the scoping of the order. One thing we don't know is exactly who this is going to apply to. Various media reports out there suggest the president's going to limit the scope to transnational gang members. And that's important because the legal arguments are going to hinge upon whether or not this constitutes an invasion of the United States or an incursion. But again, let's say the president says that I'm going to apply Alien Enemies Acts to transnational gang members. I absolutely, obviously, given, as we see with everything involving immigration, it's going to trigger lawsuits and it's going to be decided by the federal courts. In terms of those, what's interesting about this, though, is that this is an authority that draws upon the president's power as the commander in chief. And typically, courts are more reluctant to question the president's decisions when it comes to those national security, foreign policy, and commander in chief authorities that the president has. And so I think, although a lot of people arguably, and probably correctly would assert that, this is obviously a very unprecedented use of Alien Enemies Act, and it's not a declared war or that kind of formal invasion that Congress probably envisioned when it passed the law. You run up against this counter argument of, well, it's not for the courts to second guess the president of the United States in terms of deciding when the U.S. is under attack or deciding what we need from foreign policy. So I think that this court battle will be very interesting as it plays out.